Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Weichert. I'm with O'Reilly's Tools of Change, one of the conference chairs. My colleague, Kat Meyer, here is to my right. As I like to say, she does all the real work. And then Kristen McLean is to her right. Kristen is another one of the chairs for our very first Author Revolution Day. I want to thank you for attending. We're super excited about it. I wanted to open up just briefly and mention why Author Revolution Day. A number of people came up to us over the last couple of years, and I see Porter Anderson right here in front of me, he was one of them, talking to us about how Tools of Change has evolved into a wonderful event and franchise, if you will, for the publishing professional. And that's great, but what we focus on within the main event of Tools of Change and the price of entry is pretty much prohibitive for the typical author. So we heard Porter and other folks loud and clear, and this is our first step towards addressing that need. And I don't have anything to share today, but just wanted to let you know that this is an area that we feel is obviously vibrant, not just the self-publishing movement, but because I feel that authors, I think the pendulum of power has shifted, I think we would all agree, more towards authors over the years. And frankly, one of the things I hear a lot is how do publishers justify their existence? You know, we've talked for years about how important it is for an author to have a platform, and that's what they need to bring to the table. And some authors shoot back to the publisher, well, if I've got the platform, what are you doing for me, right? Yeah, and I have not seen it answered all that well yet, to tell you the truth. So I think what we want to do is, on the one hand, within the main event of TOC, talk about how publishing is changing and how publishers need to address that. But here within Author Revolution, we want to talk more about your needs as authors, what you're doing to build your platform. We've got, I feel, a terrific lineup of speakers set for today. Kat and Kristen have done just a phenomenal job there. To my left is Cory Doctorow. He'll be speaking in a couple of minutes. We're excited to have him kick things off. Also wanted to let folks know that we've got this live streamed right now, so hi to everybody in the audience. Really excited about that, and we are going to make the recording available after the fact to everybody that's here. But we also wanted to extend this further to allow even more people to experience the first Author Revolution Day. Two other points I wanted to make. Kristen's company, Bookagee, has a terrific platform. I've had the benefit of talking with Kristen a number of times over the last year or so about what they're doing with this service called WriterQ. They've got a booth in the back here. I want to encourage everybody to stop by and talk with either Kristen or one of her colleagues there, because I think it's a marvelous program that they're building up, and I think that it should be of interest to anybody who's involved in authoring. Secondly, outside of our room here, Rob Eager, who you'll hear from a little bit later this morning, has a book for sale, special discount for attendees. Sell your book like wildfire. I can't recommend this book enough. Totally recommend everybody stop by, talk with Rob. He's out there, and grab a copy of this book. So that's everything I wanted to kick off with. Kat, you want to talk about housekeeping?
Yeah, just real quickly, welcome everybody. There's a lot of friendly faces out there, a lot of people I know. Just letting you know that we're really excited that there are so many authors here, but to you authors, there are also a lot of publishing people here who are probably looking to learn from you guys. So we have so much packed into the schedule today. We're going to try and keep our part brief. Kristen and I there's so much to learn. We just kept adding people. And hopefully this is the first of many, many opportunities for us to provide some programming for you guys. So I'm going to turn it over to Kristen, and we're going to get going with that program. But thank you for coming very much.
I'm going to stand up since you guys on this side of the room are going to have trouble. I just want to say for speakers, these people right here, if we're sitting in this chair, cannot see you. So those of us who are sitting along this table, we're going to try to make sure people sit towards the end, and I apologize for those of us who are short and are going to be behind the podium. So I just want to add a little bit more color to what Joe talked about earlier about why we created this conference. And I want to talk specifically about why I got involved with the co-chairing here. I've been a TOC speaker for several years now. I've been in the publishing industry for 18 years, working mostly in trade publishing. I now have a startup that's working on a lot of interesting data problems in publishing. And I do a lot of thinking about how we can help publishing evolve to meet the digital future, because I feel like the consumer behavior, the technology, and the content is moving faster than our business practices and faster than our ability to kind of keep up with it right now. And it's really important for us to facilitate opportunities and conversation around best practices, around new tools, and sort of thoughtful conversation, not just about the mechanics of publishing, because that's a lot of what we talk about is the mechanics, but the issues behind it, the issues of authorship, the issues of content creation, the issues of reading and writing in the digital age. And to put that in context for you, we decided to do this conference a while ago, but in the last few weeks, there's been a survey that came out that I think really backs us up in terms of data on why authors are a really important addressable market for us right now. And the study was put out by Digital Book World and by Writer's Digest. I don't know if Jeremy's in the audience, but he's one of the authors of this survey. It's called What Authors Want, Understanding Authors in the Era of Self-Publishing. And this was a real eye-opener for me. I saw it at Digital Book World a few weeks ago. And what was really interesting is the survey is fascinating, but the main thing that came out is that there's this class of author that they're calling the hybrid author. The author who has published both across self-publishing and traditional platforms. And what they found in their survey of 5,000 authors, about half of whom were published, is that of those published authors, the hybrid authors outperformed both the traditionally published authors and the self-published authors by a pretty significant margin. They earned, on average, $10,000 more a year than their traditionally published colleagues, and more than $31,000 a year than their self-published colleagues annually from their writing alone. They were, so about 78% of them were on Facebook, as opposed to 68% of their traditionally published colleagues. They were 10% more likely to be blogging, and they had been on Twitter 12% longer than their traditionally published colleagues. And those numbers just went up over self-publishing. So for me, as an entrepreneur, what was really cool about that is I was like, that's them. That's the author that I've been really interested in. That's the author that we're building this conference for. This is the author who is sophisticated, who has some knowledge of publishing, has some ideas about what they want to do, and are really trying to wrestle with how to do what they want to do in the new ecosystem. So that's what this day is about. We're going to keep talking about entrepreneurship, I think, throughout the whole day. It's a thread that is going to weave through. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's thought-provoking, and I hope that we can encourage lots of different kinds of conversations throughout the day and beyond.